Mixed messages from the Prime Minister and the Premiers has been a pretty common complaint about the handling of the coronavirus crisis.
And yesterday, another example, Scott Morrison praised Australians for staying home, while Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews warned people that they will be caught and fined if they go out.
On behalf of all the Premiers and Chief Ministers and myself, the members of the National Cabinet, we simply want to say to you, Australia, thank you. Keep doing it. You're saving lives and you're saving livelihoods.
I really hope we don't see again the sorts of scenes we saw in Bondi last weekend. That is simply putting lives at risk. People will die if Victorians act in that way.
Well, our masters of spin this morning are advertising and marketing experts Matthew Bywater and Dee Madigan. Dee, in police speak, this would be called, I guess, good cop, bad cop. From your experience, in a messaging sense, what is the most effective way to try to get people to change their behaviour?
What's missing is there's just these broad save lives. The message needs to be you may survive coronavirus, you probably will, but the person you could infect may not. And that's the bit that is missing from this whole messaging. You could be killing someone if you go out.
Because, Matt, it has been confusing. Saying it's okay to send kids to school, it's not okay to go to the beach. People are a bit confused.
Yeah, it has been quite mixed, and it's been a struggle between the states and also the federal governments. And to be fair to the governments, I mean, this is a moving feast. This is unprecedented for Australia, and we've got these things happening daily and all these updates, and that's the hard thing, to have a clear and concise message with all these movements. But we need to do more. We need to get a clear message out there. Particularly, I'd like to see empowering people more about changing the social norm, getting people to say, you've got more control over this, and having those steps all lined out.
Dee, help me understand this then. If we're talking mixed messages, how on earth can we justify people being sent out to vote in the Queensland local council elections? We're being told not to go to the beach, not to go to schools, or perhaps go to schools, some of us, but then go and stand in line alongside, hundreds of other people to vote.
Well, people are still going to supermarkets, and I know the Queensland Electoral Commission has put in measures to keep people apart and to have hand sanitisers. I'm not sure what the difference is between that and going to Dan Murphy's, to be honest.
Yeah, OK, so Matt, there is some calls for a public communication campaign to be a lot darker than just the information-based one that it is, perhaps more on the Grim Reaper style that we saw during the AIDS epidemic. What do you think? Do you think that we need to be a bit darker in the messaging?
Yeah, I'm okay being a little darker, but you have to switch straight back into a more positive aspect afterwards. Remember, we've got to change societal norms. What do people normally do? And the best way to do that is to individually motivate people. And you think about autonomy, get them actually getting more control of what they can do, mastery, where you actually say, these are the steps you need to take, and purpose. This is about you, this is about your family, the community, and Australia, the greater country at large. If we do that, we get the respondents being not just from the government and the health professionals. We get 25 million Australians fighting this epidemic. And that's the important thing, is trying to encourage people to look on the bright side, change the actual what is the societal norm. Because people will follow crowds. People would normally do what everyone else does.
Yes, indeed. All right, well, Matt and Dee, we're out of time. Lovely to see you both. Thank you. Well, coming up, we talked to the boss who knew coronavirus would close his company, so he found his workers, all of them, new jobs before having to let them go. He's coming up next.